All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway SuperTruck Series here tonight at Daytona International Speedway, and it is going to be a 75-lap scheduled race here tonight, race number 2 of the playoffs out of the 4 races, so this will be the halfway point tonight. And so the drivers putting down their qualifying lap to go ahead and see where they will start this evening, and then we'll get things underway in just a moment. So with that, while drivers are making those qualifying laps as we speak, let's go ahead and pull up the points after race number 1. And it's going to be Richard Sanchez leading the points by 4 over Patrick Gruber. Then Ryan Decker and Jacob Lee, they're tied for 3rd. And then right behind him, Cody Nagels there in 5th. Then you got Corey Buskirk, Bud Steele, Jason Bogart, Seth Gruber, Vicente Guerrero are top 10. And then some big names here that didn't have a good night to kick off the season, or playoffs, I should say. Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler, especially kind of ones to note. I see Jim Brooks, a tough evening as well. And then also Jeremy Osborne, Nicholas Wing. Unfortunately, the 25 of Kevin Freeze not able to make last week's race, and trying to see if I spot him in tonight's, and I'm not seeing a 25 car, so unfortunately maybe 2 in a row that Kevin is not able to make the races, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully he's able to maybe make a late appearance. But right now, like I said, drivers putting down their qualifying laps. Looks like 11 drivers so far have put a lap down, and it looks like about a pretty solid field here in the low mid 20s. So should be a lot of fun here tonight. All right, so with that, so as I kind of go over the typical stuff here with the rules for those that aren't familiar, but I'm sure most of you are. The way that the race works is basically everything's thrown off of iRacing, so iRacing cautions, so admins don't throw yellows. Try to keep it as hands off as they can, just to kind of allow for no risk of people maybe thinking things are kind of preferential treatment, things of that nature. So like I said, that's always the hope, is to make things as fair for everybody as we can. There is one fast repair available to all the drivers here tonight. So if they get caught up in any incidents, they can go ahead and take that fast repair and then have another chance at it. And then the other thing, of course, is there are 3 green-white checkered attempts. So if we get a yellow in the closing stages of the race, there is that potential for those late race restarts. Up to 3 attempts. However, on that 3rd and final attempt, should there be a caution, at that point the race will be over, field will be frozen at the time of the yellow. And then, of course, for the other side of things as well, for the rules, like mentioned, no passing below the yellow line. And also bonus points for incident-free race, 2 bonus points for that, 1 bonus point for pole, and then I believe also a bonus point for the highest climber. So that's why you'll see some drivers kind of try to pull some strategy and try to start towards the back of the field. And the pace car drivers done pretty good about staying out of trouble for the most part. So we'll see if that needs to come into play. But what does have to happen now, though, Peter, is we got to pull up our starting grid. Also, wonderful to see you. Hope you are doing well, sir. And it is going to be Mr. Cody Nagels getting that bonus point in the 06 truck. He will be our pole sitter. Next to him, Ray Rittenauer there in the 87. Tied actually with Gabe Butler there. So it went to the beyond the thousandth of a second there, into the tens of thousands between he and Gabe. Then Patrick Gruber and Kevin Hash rounding out our top 5. Jack Walls, Vicente Guerrero, Eric Laurie, Joe Delavecchia, and Jacob Lee are top 10. Then you got Austin Call, Bud Steele, 11th, 12th. Mike Rimkus, Corey Buskirk, Jim Brooks, Jason Bogart, and Nick Wing. They're the drivers that did put down a qualifying lap. And then this time, actually, Seth Gruber not putting down a qualifying lap, along with Ryan Decker, Richard Sanchez, Ambrose Nabel, Bob Fitzgerald, Frank Ranger Jr., and Brian Wang starting shotgun here tonight. And I feel like Brian's been able to kind of pull that back starting row thing a few times here, so I'll have to keep an eye on So he's got some strategery there. Again, trying to either maybe try and get those bonus points, or maybe let's say some of these guys they think way ahead of things. Maybe trying to keep some bonus points away from the competition from some of his competitions there on exit. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. As you see the field all starting to grid up here. At the moment, rolling solo here tonight, Karen, I did send a message over to my brother in case he was bored. I believe Matt Wagner is currently racing some Dallara DW12 cars over at one of our sister leagues, the Dark Horse Series. So we'll see. He might make an appearance later on. Right now, I'll be rolling solo, but should be a lot of fun here tonight. Hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday evening. And looks like, I believe, some strategy at play here, as I see two trucks did not grid, and one of them you can see just popped up on screen there, the 03 of Kevin Hash. And I think Raymond Rittenauer as well in the 87 also opting not to put down a qualifying lap there. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that, but what we do have, though, is that front row here, the 6, and now that'll actually promote the 54 of Seth Groover to the front, or sorry, Patrick Groover, apologies, to the front row here. And then you see Gabe Butler there 3rd, and I'll also, I believe, push Jack Walls up into 4th. And then, of course, again, you'll see those trucks highlighted in the green. Those are our playoff drivers, to easily be able to spot them. And again, big shout out to Peter there for helping me get that set up. And so like I said, right now we'll have that ticker kind of going across the top, but then we'll switch it over to the kind of the more normal tower one that we like to do. Shows a lot more drivers in quick succession. So let's say we'll see how that goes. And fuel windows should be a 3-stop race to the finish. So expect to see these drivers probably in the low 20s, maybe high teens potentially, having to make those pit stops. So we'll keep an eye on the strategy. We saw a really interesting strategy on Thursday night, which was a very good strategy, almost successful to pull off the win. Just unfortunately, a couple yellows towards the end kind of changed the strategy there. So we'll see if that comes into play. I have a feeling some drivers are going to be ready. I mean, look at Gabe Butler. He's already just saving every ounce of fuel he can in that 88 Guinness truck. Just making sure he can get all he can out of that thing. So we'll definitely keep an eye on him here as well. However, it's about to have that pace truck pull off of the racing surface, hand things over to our front row. And it is going to be, again, Cody Nagels leading the field here as the green flag is out, and we are down and away. 75 laps, our scheduled distance here tonight at Daytona. You saw right there Raymond Rittenauer already rolling out of pit road. Also the 03 truck, I should say, Kevin Hash here, they both roll out of pit road. So they got to stay on the apron until they get exited out of the backstretch. And then from there on, they will be able to rejoin the field. But right now, though, they will not hold that draft. You can see right there, they'll have the two of each other to work with. That should help minimize some of that time loss. But right now, Gabe Butler quick to the top side, getting a great push from Patrick. He'll clear that number 06 of Cody Nagels. Gabe going to try to lead lap number 1 here. Looking at the back, but some big momentum shifting to the outside line. Patrick Gruber getting a great push from Jack Walls at the line. I believe Patrick Gruber going to lead lap number 1, get that bonus point as they head down back into turn 1 for lap 2. Gabe jumping back to the top, saw the momentum shift there to the 54, and again, that backstretch, I'll say, with, of course, everything being equal, usually the outside line gets a good run at a 2. Inside line, of course, will kind of surge forward on during the turns, but then on the exit, usually the outside line is where you want to be for that little extra surge. But right now, though, so you got some teammates now lined up, those Limitless trucks there, Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero doing a great job, and this time it's going to be tight once more at the line. It was again near the thousandths of a second, but I believe Cody led that second lap, our pole sitter tonight, and now Gabe just a nose ahead, but again, Gabe's still working hard to try to get that lap led here early. Say, of course, good evening as well to Ramrod. I'll say right now that number 10 of Jason Bogart rolling just outside the top 10. However, Jason already up 5 spots from where he started, so nice early beginning for him. And right now, like I said, this is probably Gabe's best chance here to try to get that lap lead. Oh, as you see the little 3-wide action, a little blocking almost. It looked like drivers trying to hold that position there between the 10 and the 32. But everybody's able to keep it pointed in the right direction, and Gabe does lead that lap now, so gets a lap lead under his belt. And we'll see if there's any strategy here. Do we see maybe that 88 drop to the apron and roll back, or is he going to just try to stay where he's at for the moment? Looks like he's going to kind of just hang out where he's at and then keep things going. You see in the background there, Ray Rittenauer, Kevin Hash again, starting from pit road. So again, they only have the 2 trucks. Gabe's actually going to jump to the top here. I believe maybe letting Cody go, or maybe trying to, again, maybe Cody getting a little bit hot there in the 6. And these guys will, oh, we got contact. We got trouble. Big contact here. Everybody's still pointing in the right direction. You see one down on pit road. These trucks just trying to get themselves sorted here and waiting for a caution to fly. None as of yet. And again, that's the concern about the iRacing yellows only, is sometimes it helps, sometimes it really hurts your cause. And this time it looks like it's going to be, unfortunately, a huge issue for a number of these drivers. As you can see now how bad the field's been spread out here. And it's one of those tough ones where you want to try to ideally throw those yellows, but yeah, it's a tough balance there on those. So at the moment, we do stay green. Again, the field now separated by about the top 9 trucks here, kind of a little breakaway, if you will. And then from now 10th on back with Jim Brooks leading that pack for the moment. You see Jason Bogart looks like a little bit of right front damage possibly to his machine, but they only have now 4, about to be 5 trucks in line. And then you got to go another couple seconds back to our winner from last week, the 5 and the 05, Richard Sanchez, Brian Wang. And so, yeah, this is really shaking this field up, unfortunately. We got one really slow on the apron there. That's Nick Wing. They were just in that group there. Oh, man, I'm not sure if it's a full moon tonight or if everybody's kind of all amped up for the eclipse, but this has been a tough opening. And, again, without without the caution, and yeah, you're exactly right though, Karen. It's unfortunate. It's a really tough balance, like I said, because of the don't you throw them, because again, in that situation, I think probably admins would have thrown it. It's just one of those things where it's when the rule is set, they don't want to kind of make those changes on the fly. So but yeah, unfortunately, just a tough break for the moment. But again, still a ton of racing. You go only on lap 7 of 75. But right now you can see, though, you got those top 9 here all together. And right now doubled up here a little bit. But then you got to go now over 10 seconds back now to Richard Sanchez, Brian Wang leading the second pack. So, again, we'll watch lap times as they start to continue on. But right now, though, we'll jump back up front as Patrick Gruber now trying to get to the point. And he's got a new pusher, and that's Jacob Lee. I'll say Jacob up 7 spots at the moment from where he started in this race, and is able to kind of get through that contact early on and able to make it through. So I say this is now where, yeah, if you're lead pack, you like what you see, because you're like, man, we can break away, we can have just maybe settle it between ourselves. But again, so much time left in this one. A few trucks, I should say, were involved that had to jump into pit road, get some fast repairs done, including Ryan Decker. You see him in the 48, Corey Buskirk, and I believe Joe Delvecchia, actually. I think he's retired from the event, unfortunately. So on the 48, though, and the 99, those are 2 trucks that did go ahead and pit. Probably fast repairs for the 2 of them. And, yeah, just a tough situation, unfortunately. However, one thing I can say is this league's rules are never set in stone. The only thing is usually they try to make sure that the changes don't happen mid-season. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably one of those things that will be discussed during the off-season, with the potential, especially for a clear situation where one of those probably should have had a yellow thrown on that one, as big as it was. So I'm sure in situations like that, this will be brought up during the off-season. So hopefully that gets all squared away. But Right now, we'll continue to watch this battle up front as Jacob Lee's going to nose ahead. He's going to lead this lap here in at 21. He will get a bonus point for him as well here. The next thing we got to do is we got to start watching lap times as Brian Wang and Richard Sanchez working together here. And right now, about 7/10 off is a 47.34 for Patrick Groover, 48 flat for the 5 and the 05. So right now the pace is not there like it is for this front pack, and there is a bit of a number advantage for this first pack than the second. So a little bit more trucks here to kind of help that draft push a little bit further forward. So again, we'll keep an eye on the lap times as things go. But again, right now, it's as leaders cross the line, that second pack of trucks is just about to exit turn number 4. So that's unfortunately how big the gap is between these guys. And just, yeah, unfortunately, a tough break for a lot of our drivers here early on. So as you can see, again, we talked about those trucks highlighted in green. Unfortunately, 2 of our playoff contenders trapped a lap down, 22nd and 23rd. And so right now, like I said, they just kind of got to try to keep after it and hope for the second pack, hope for some breaks. The same, of course, lap traffic could come into play. You never want it to. But I say, again, Daytona a little narrower than Talladega. They race fairly similarly, but at the same time, they're very different animals, especially for pit entry and pit exit. So we'll keep an eye on that once we get to that window. But again, probably another, I'd say 7 to 8, 9, 10 laps or so before that window opens. And again, lap time wise, though, still this lead pack still kind of surging a little bit forward. And something I have mentioned before, and you see there's that 17 truck we just were mentioning, maybe some lap traffic. That's Frank Ranger Jr. I would suspect, and you see it right there, he's going to jump to the top, let these trucks on by. And then ideally, if he can try to drop right here between Eric Laurie, try to see if he can pick up the draft here. That way he doesn't get dropped further, but he's actually staying pretty high up here now, starts to move down. That's probably, unfortunately, going to seal his fate to not hang on to this lead pack draft. So, and again, now with the way the field's spread out here, as you can see the separation, these trucks not pushing quite as aggressively as they have been. Because, again, I don't feel like they really need to at this point. They can play it safe here. Again, the interval is still looking really good for the first pack to the second pack. As right now, again, it was a little over half a second, actually. 47.40 to a 48.14. So, yeah, so just over half a second quicker for that lead pack to the second group, who are staying pretty committed here, single file, though. Again, I think they're just going to try to kind of take their time and try to just see what this race gives them at this point early on. They jump again another 7.5 seconds back to these two that started from the pits, and they've been able to add Bob Fitzgerald and Mike Rimkus to their group. So they got 4 trucks here to the 5 of that second pack we just mentioned, as they're starting to shuffle around a little bit here in that lead pack. And yeah, right now it's pretty consistently at least a half a second quicker for this first pack than the second. So what we can do here is, while things are calm-ish, let's run through our field here right now. Cody Nagel's currently leading this thing. Right behind him, his teammate, Vicente Guerrero. Well, all right. Second place, Patrick Groover for the moment. So that's going to ebb and flow as the race goes on. Now showing second is that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Again, those are our top 3 for the moment. Fourth place as things run, Jack Walls in that number 83 Pennzoil truck. Then you got Jacob Lee to his outside there, rolling in the 4th or 5th position. And then these guys a little bit more single file, makes life a little easier. You got Gabe Butler there in the 88. Right behind him is teammate Eric Laurie. And then a couple trucks here as well. It's running single file. You got Austin Call there in the 64. Bud Steele here, the last of the trucks in this main draft here on this lead lap. And then we'll jump again about 13, 14 seconds back there. That's going to be Richard Sanchez leading the second pack, our winner from last week. Brian Wang pushing him along in that 05 truck, followed by the 51 of Jim Brooks, one of our playoff contenders, as well then as right behind him of Seth Gruber. Then again, last truck in the lead pack in this draft is that number 10 of Jason Bogart. Then again, 7+ seconds back, then you go to Raymond Rittenauer in the 87 truck, and then right behind him his teammate Kevin Hash. Right now it's 15th and 16th, and then you got Bob Fitzgerald in the 08 and Mike Rimkus in the 79 truck sitting in the 18th position. And then again, got to go even further back here. Unfortunately, Ambrose Nabel, he's rolling on his own for the moment, trying to find some drafting friends, but unfortunately those drafting friends are going to be in the form of probably some trucks after he gets lapped. As Nick Wing right now in the 20th position. You see them jump to the top as here come the leaders. And then you've got, we just mentioned Frank Ranger Jr. He is right on the absolute edge of maybe trying to grab back onto this draft. Is he is 21st. Right now is Frank Ranger Jr. is actually the first truck, one lap down as they run, which is just about to change. Then you got Ryan Decker here in the 48, also trapped to one down. And then unfortunately, Corey Busker there in the 998, I believe, sitting at 2 down at the moment. And here comes pit stops here. Lap 17, so a little earlier than I thought here as, big slide. Contact here. The top 3 bouncing off each other. The 54, Patrick Gruber trying to gather back up. Finally gets to settle back in, but a couple of trucks making contact with one another. So that's going to shake things up a little bit. Here comes the second pack as well. And so, yeah, everybody's got the same fuel window here. The one truck that did save, though, Bud Steele in the 6 truck, he's going to try to go one extra lap. And with all that little bumping and banging we saw here, this could actually be a big benefit for the 6 truck, as he's going to have a much calmer pit road entry. So I'll have to keep an eye on him as the other trucks are already rolling out of pit road. And yeah, here they come right on cue, the 6, the 28, and the 998. As you can see, again, much calmer, much cleaner of a pit entry. I say it's much easier with 3 trucks together. So again, we'll have to watch and see how he comes out in relation to that lead pack. But right now, it's really spread out here. You see Bud, great job hitting his pit stall. You got 3 trucks together there. Those are the ones that were kind of pinballing there from that contact earlier on. Austin Call there, he's about 2 seconds back. He's got some help, but right now they're going to have to really hustle to try to get up there, as Bud Steele's just now rolling out of pit road. And it's going to be tight. I think he'll hold on to the second pack with Austin Call and company. Let's take a look out the back here, as there goes the top 3. And yeah, so there's your answer there. Those guys are gone. And now, though, his goal is to see if he can maybe piggyback off of these 3, but he's still trying to build speed here in the 6 truck. And I'm unfortunate, I don't think he's going to be able to tag onto the back of these guys. However, he does have some help in front of him. And yeah, this is once again shaking this field up even further here, as we did have a couple of pit penalties. It looks like Patrick Gruber had a 52-second pit stop. That's probably an unsafe pit road, or speeding on pit entry, unfortunately, for that 54. As you see, him right now is, I believe, actually sitting now the first car, or truck, I should say, 1 lap down. And actually, he's going to be a perfect ladder right here. Watch how he's able to kind of be this pull here for these 3 trucks. This is actually a really good opportunity for them. They're going to jump to his outside. And I think this is actually going to pull them right back into that draft with our top 3. So this should actually give us 6 trucks here in this main pack for the current lead of this race. You see the 2 trucks do clear Cody Nagels. They're actually going to go back to the top. They said, let's just go for it all here. Let's try to get a lap lead here. Vicente will lead this time by with, again, help from Gabe Butler. But like I said, now you've got 6 trucks in this main pack, all working together here. Again, first truck 1 down is now the 54 of Patrick Gruber. But again, after the pit stops, once again, the field's really shaken up here. Bud Steele is starting to catch some help here from behind. Or actually, no, I'm completely wrong. I apologize there. He's got a little bit of help there from the 28. You see they might be able to pick up that 04 here of Ambrose Nabel. But then you got to go now 12 seconds back to these two here. Brian Wang, and we mentioned already, unfortunately, trapped the lap down Ryan Decker. And then you got 4 trucks behind them here, which will be Seth Gruber, Jim Brooks, Jacob Lee. Unfortunately, he had a 12.9 second pit stop. That's probably a 4-tire stop. I'm guessing, unfortunately, the settings weren't what he wanted it to be, as he drops from that lead pack down to the second pack now in 11th. And then you got this next group here being led by Bob Fitzgerald, Mike Rimkus, and again, there's Raymond Rittenauer and Kevin Hash still rolling solo, unfortunately. And then they're trying to work around Jason Bogart, who again mentioned limping a little bit of damage here, so he's just trying to hang on to this draft right now. And then really the big story to me here is this 5-truck, Rick Sanchez. He is off on his own, 17th right now, and I believe the last truck on the lead lap as we run. And just, yeah, unfortunately a big, not sure, the pit stop time, oh, actually, yeah, 22-second, it shows in the pit lane, so maybe overshot, had to back up, maybe some contact, not sure, to be truthfully honest, because there's a lot going on with all of that. But yeah, so right now things starting to once again settle back in. But the other thing to mention, though, is that fuel window we just talked about. These guys all pitted around lap 17. The only one that went to 18 in the lead pack, was in the lead pack, was Bud Steele. But now that drops him out of that main pack, and I don't know if 17 laps is gonna make it for a 3-stopper. There could be a chance of having to do a 4th stop for a splash of fuel at the very, very end. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that for these drivers once we get to that later stages of this race. And right now the field's starting to close up on that 5 of Richard Sanchez. Again, for Richard, his goal here is going to be to try to just basically tag onto this main pack. And then also, again, his competition is going to be that 54. We just mentioned Patrick Gruber. Both these drivers are playoff drivers. So this will be an important fight for that number 5 truck to stay ahead of that 54 if he is at all possible. And it'll also be interesting to see what does he do. Does he go ahead and jump up top and then let these guys on by at the bottom? Or does he try maybe stay on the bottom, make them go around the longer way? And you can see it looks like he's already starting to drift up here. So he's going to, I'll say again, kind of one of those things, kind of not what he wants to do, but these guys, again, a lot of respect that we see from these guys, but he's going to have to be really aggressive right here, slide right back into the behind the 88 Gabe Butler, and then pull that draft and be able to suck right back up to these guys. And then now, of course, figure out what the game plan is for him as well here, to try to find a way to be in that lucky dog position just in case, because you never know how it's going to shake out. We will jump back to Bud Steele because he still got his couple friends. However, the lap times, though, are reflecting the fact that he's only got those 3 trucks in this pack. As right now, he ran a 48.84, leaders 48.89. However, the quickest trucks right now on track here are these ones right here. Brian Wing, Seth Gruber, Jim Brooks, 47.66. So actually about 2.5 tenths quicker than our leaders. But again, though, you can see on the timing scoring on the side, they're 16.5 seconds behind the leaders. So they've got a long, long ways to go. But looks like some really good pushing from Ryan Decker to the back of that 05. And again, I mean, that's the second truck and the third truck. Those are the really, really critical trucks to kind of keep that momentum going forward. And yeah, and also looking at some little crinkles here and there. Like, we're going to hop on board with Jack Walls here. I want to take a look on the roof here. And you see right there a little bit of right rear damage for Cody Nagels. Won't be enough to affect that truck, especially rear end damage is pretty okay here at the plate races. But the concern, of course, is was it enough to maybe show as a 4X, which, let's say, for those that also maybe not familiar, iRacing has kind of incident counts. So you have start with a 0X, which is just kind of some light contact car to car, or maybe car to the wall, say not too hard of a hit. You'll get a 1X if you go off into the grass. Those usually will occur trying to avoid a wreck or things of that nature. That's where you'll see the 1X come into play. Harder contact with the outside wall usually shows up as a 2X for the drivers. However, a 4X is where it's pretty solid car-to-car contact. And those, let's say, those are the incident points that you can get. Say again, in this league race, let's say there are no incident point limits or anything like that, but there are in some of the official races where you can only get up to X amount of incident points before you have to maybe make a a drive-through penalty for pit stops or things of that nature. So but the big story for that part though is if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 or higher incident points, that is going to cost you those 2 bonus points for having an incident-free race, and that's where it's so crucial for these drivers. They want to try to basically be as in as good of a spot as they can, because they want to get every single point they can, because again, with a 4-race playoff, every point's going to be especially crucial. Looking at that third pack though, I'm still watching these guys here. Brian Wang, again, they were about a half a second quicker this time, 47.31 to 47.89, and they're just about to pull up on the draft of Bud Steele and Company. So that's going to be great here. They're going to get a really big lap here because they're going to be getting a huge tow here down the backstretch. The question is, will they have to maybe jump to the outside to try to blow their way around them? Or do we see those 3 trucks say, you know what, we know you guys are quicker, let us slot in behind you. So we'll see the 04 here. He's going to jump to the top, says, yeah, you guys go on right by. But right now, looks like the 28 and the 6 going to stay locked on together here. As we'll jump back to our leaders. And yeah, there's the lap time there, 46.69 by Brian Wang, as well as the 48 here. And they are latched onto each other here. We'll see what the rest of the field here does. I think what they might do is they might just both clear, drop down in front, and I think that's the way they're going to run this thing here, because it does look like Brian Wang and the 48 of Ryan Decker, very, very powerful combination here, running amazing lap times here. Again, this time by was over a second quicker, about 1.2 seconds quicker than the leaders. So again, on the Lucky Dog battle right now, the 54 and the 5 are the first 2 eligible. Right now the 54 has it, but right now the way they're running single file, there's not much Rick can do here. So he's going to have to wait for the pit stop cycle to have a chance at this. So we'll see again. And again, they all pitted at lap 17, so we're right there now, lap 30 here of the race. So if those numbers stay accurate, lap 34, expect to see the field here all back in together. And again, that's going to be where it's going to be crucial for these guys to probably, honestly, just have a cleaner entry and try to get in and out together as a pack, because that's usually where the field will really spread out. We'll jump back to this third pack here, being led right now by Bob Fitzgerald. He's getting good pushing help from Mike Rimkus in the 79, then Ray Rittenauer there we mentioned earlier, Kevin Hash, and the 10 of Jason Bogart. Also working hard here to try to get back up to these guys. Right now, like I said, still the quickest trucks on track have been the 05 there of Brian Wang leading that second pack. And so yeah, so right now though, I'm running the numbers, and based on what I am seeing, this actually will be, I believe, a 4-stop race, because these guys are averaging 17 laps per tank, and on that average, that's only going to get them to lap 68. So basically, again, we talked about lap 17, then we'll expect to see them on 34, then 51, and then they'll have to take a splash at lap 68 potentially. So right now, as this race is running, it actually looks like we're going to have an extra pit stop, a 4th pit stop here. Just the way the base of the fuel is, let's say we do have reduced fuel tanks in these trucks to force those extra green flag pit stops, allows the field to kind of let the drivers, let's say, gives them that little extra challenge as well. So we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, I have to agree, Kaylin. Right now, Brian is being a very, very good pusher for Brian. So these two, again, working well. 47.49 compared to a 47.87. Is actually a 48 just a moment ago. So this time by, we'll see what that lap, or this time I will see what it was. Leaders ran at 47.87. This time by for this group, 47.55. So again, still over 0.3 quicker. And again, I mean, there's still a lot of racing to go. Haven't even hit the halfway point of this one yet. And we'll have to wait for the pit stops. That's going to be the telltale here. And again, could be this lap, could be next lap. But expect to see the field here about to hit pit road very shortly. This group now, they actually turn the wick up. They're 2/10 quicker, 47.67s for those guys, waiting for Brian Wang and company to go on by. And it is a 47.65, so just about the same lap times. What we can do is actually we can show you those lap times there on the left, and there's the kind of the difference between those. So again, the top 6 there are all in the same pack. Brian Wang leading the second group. You can see those are the lap times. That's how close they were here this last time around. But I think story right now is going to be pit stops. I believe we will see these trucks hit pit road. And yep, here they come, and they're all going to come in together. No, they're not. We got some strategies here. So we've got 4 trucks right now, and this could play a difference. But Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Rick Sanchez, and Patrick Groover, they're going to go one more lap here, as actually Patrick's going to jump to the top here and slot in behind these guys. And this is an opportunity for Rick here, because right now, that now puts that 5 truck in that lucky dog position. Also a little further back, Brian Wang and company, those guys all just hit pit road as well. You see Bud Steele hitting his pit box there, Jacob Lee as well. So let's say those are those guys as these guys rolling out of pit road. But once again, though, this is what we got to watch. Though, look, there's a little bit of separation. Vicente Cody, they're right there together. Austin's and Jack Walls, they're a couple tenths back here. So there is potential, though, but we'll jump up front because here come the leaders. Gabe Butler, that was a pretty quick entry here. Eric Laurie there. You got the 554. They're all in together. Gabe, though, gained a ton of time on the entry. Hopefully you'll be able to stay pretty tucked on with them. As you see, some trucks starting to roll out of pit road as well. Oh, Eric Laurie too hot there. Has to back it up. That's going to cost him even more time. Oh, the 54 as well, too hot on entry. Still backing it up. That's the concern, is that's going to split this group up here. So Gabe's going to be, looks like he's going to have one truck after all this is said and done. And again, there's a little bit of separation once again. That's going to be the 88 to the 5. So we'll look out the back here, because this could actually, know it. No, I'm going to say this actually worked out really well. I think Gabe's going to hold the draft here. I think he'll be able to get up to speed enough. He's going to pick up the draft from that 5. And I think that's going to keep him in this lead pack here. So I believe we do lose a few trucks after this is all said and done. We'll have to wait for everything to cycle through completely. But right now, like I said, Gabe and Rick here, they're fully up to speed, or they're starting, I should say, just about fully up to speed. You see right there, Jack Walls, Austin Call, they did get back up to those 2 trucks in front of them. So I believe we will have once again a 6 truck pack here. 5 of which are on that lead lap. Unfortunately, the odd man out right now is this guy right there, Eric Laurie. We mentioned and say he had to back that truck up, and that's just too much for him to recover from. Going to cost him that lead draft. And so now, once again, now we got to look at the second pack. How are we organized here? You get the 05, the 32, the 48, and you got the 51, the 21 all together. But unfortunately, the one truck we don't see in that group is right there, Bud Steele. Unfortunately, he's lost this draft now. And so as well, so both groups of trucks here losing a couple helpers, unfortunately. So what we do want to see now is, again, we're going to probably start looking at lap times once more. Raymond Rittenauer, Kevin Hash, they've unfortunately lost their help. That's just them together once more. Then you got to go a little further back to these 3 trucks working on getting back there. And then here come that lead pack here again. Right now, the 5 truck showing as our first truck 1 lap down as they run. So once more, we're going to switch to the lap times. And you can see the leaders running 47.68. Brian Wang and company, they are already across the line. They ran a 47.09. So actually, that's going the wrong way, unfortunately, for these guys. So haven't got the lap times they're looking for. But what they do have potentially going for them is they're going to pick up one more truck here. That's going to be Eric Laurie. That's always going to be a potential help there. And also you see Patrick Groover looks like he's going to try to tag onto the back of these guys in that 54 truck. And it looks like he should be okay to do so. So again, that's just going to give him a little bit of extra help here. And right now, like I said, and this is where these drivers, I say we can't hear what they're saying, but they're definitely communicating as we just crossed the halfway point. But right now, let's say there's probably discussion of, hey, I might be the better pusher. You might see trucks switch at some point thinking, okay, let's do that. And I just mentioned for Eric Laurie, do you go high, do you go low? Eric chose to stay low here because he wants to let these trucks clear him. And there he goes. He's going to tag right in line here, avoid the risk of losing that draft. and that's exactly the strategy there that you got to do. And again, talk about the lap times though. Brian Weng a 47.33 to a 47.47 for this lead pack here, being led by Vicente Guerrero. And so again, I mean, they've got that gap down. It's right now it's under 10 seconds here from Brian to Gabe Butler, who's the kind of the lead lap, I should say, caboose of this lead pack. And so we'll pull up that ticker there. If I remember right, earlier we were talking about that being about 14, 15 seconds. So really, really good job those guys getting on off pit road. I think that made a big difference there, getting those seconds, getting well established here. However, you saw right there just in front of the leaders, they're about to pick up 3 trucks here, and that's going to do 2 things. One, they're going to pick up a great draft here because they're going to get the toe off of those 3. That's going to give them a very good lap time, but need to again mention Brian Weng and company, half a second quicker the last time around. This time is going to be a really quick lap for Vicente and company though, 47.82. This time 47.71, so actually not as much gain. I don't think they quite got to that draft now that we're actually working on it here. And yeah, so and look once again 47.44, so 0.3 quicker for that second pack. And again, you can see it's starting to drop a little bit, little by little here, getting now to about 9.5 seconds from Brian and company. But again, this is now where this truck is, and there they are. You can see them. They can see the leaders. And that's just extra incentive. They're just like, okay, we can see them. We can do this, guys. But right now, though, that lead pack, though, they're going to get a huge toe off of these 3 trucks in front. And like I said, the next question is going to be, what do we see those 3 trucks do? Do they stay low? Do they jump to the top? Because right now we mentioned the 10. Actually, those 3 trucks are right now the tail end lead lap, and it looks like they will jump top, as that lead pack did run a very low 47.02 lap. Brian Weng and company crossing the line, 47.54. And again, that's a lot of that due to that draft. So what these 3 trucks need to do as well here is what they want to do is they want to slot right in line here with these guys. Right as the 5 gets cleared, they'll try to slot in right behind him. And then you'll have 4 trucks basically battling for that lucky dog spot. And there they all go together. And you saw there the 5, the 08, 79, and 10 rolling in right behind the 5 truck. And so that's going to make that group even bigger here. Looks like about 8 trucks strong if I can count right, which I'm not going to put that, not going to consider that one very well because I'm skeptical. As these guys, 9 trucks, as close enough, Matt.
Hi. I snuck in here.
So you were doing your open wheelers there, so hope your race went well though, sir.
Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about this truck race.
This truck race has been interesting because we had an early contact, early wreck that everybody stayed pointing in the right direction. That could have, should have been a yellow. Mentioned that the rules with this league at the moment is that we don't throw Adam and yellows to try to keep things as fair as possible. But did mention that all those things are open for change during the off season. So I think that's going to be one that we add to the list because there's about, let's see, from 6 on back, there's going to be a bunch of trucks that say, I would have really liked to have that yellow because we lost a ton of track position. And that's kind of where this race has been is right. It's gone halfway so far, caution free. And it's been really, pit stops have been the name of the game. We've had some pit stop mistakes, some miscues other than just the incident early on. And so right now we've got a 5 truck breakaway of the leaders. And say last week's winner, Richard Sanchez, unfortunately the first truck 1 lap down at the moment. And then you got right behind him all these trucks trying to get their lucky dog as well, the 08, the 79, as well as the 10 of Jason Bogart. So however, lap time wise, this pack right here has just been doing an amazing job. Brian Weng, Seth Groover there, Ryan Decker. Unfortunately, Ryan, I believe, also caught up in that incident, had to take a fast repair, but he has been just an amazing pusher in that first run prior to the pit stops, and then now it's been Seth taking over the pushing duties, and they're closing that gap, Matt. It's 47.70s for the leaders, 47.30s for that second pack. Prior to the pit stops, I want to say it was about 14 seconds or so. It's down pretty much under 9 now, and again, they can see them. That's going to be just that extra little incentive, like, man, we see them, we can catch them. They're also about to catch Raymond Rittenauer, Kevin Hash. Those two started from the pit road, and they had they They started about second, and I want to say it was top 5, top 6. But opposite started in the pits, and with it being caution-free so far, they have not been able to get back after that.
Wow.
It's been exciting.
What an interesting storyline.
Yeah, it's definitely been, like I said, the top 5 pretty happy with the way this is going, because you always want to not have to worry about everybody else around you. But like I said, 6 on back, they're probably not too happy with how this race has gone. And the other big story, Matt, is fuel mileage. Yeah. These guys can only go about 17 laps a tank, so that means there's going to be a 4th stop in this one, because they've gone 17 to 34. I think Gabe was able to go to 35, but once again, they're going to have to pit here in not too long, as we're at lap 46. I want to say 51, 52, I think is the next window to expect to see these trucks on pit road.
Yeah, I'm noticing the front pack is really not pushing all that much. Not really forcing the issue, because that's forcing pretty much Brian Wang, Seth Gruber, and Jim Brooks and company back there to push for all they're worth, because that last time by they were about 0.3 faster. Because I'm looking at Cody Nagels and Vince, they're not really pushing, maybe just a little tap down the back straightaway. Just not really burning their stuff up. Maybe a little fuel save, I think, what's going on here.
Maybe a little bit of fuel save, and also I think risk versus reward. Is it really worth Cody getting that truck hot by pushing Vicente as hard as he is? Yeah, because again, it's like, hey, we got 8 seconds to play with still. Let's not force the issue here. Let's let the other guys make the mistakes, because you don't want to be the one to bring out a caution. Do need to mention Bud Steele just hitting pit road now in that 6 truck. But yeah, say if you're in this lead pack here on the lead lap, you don't want to be the yellow. So you want to let those other guys, and that's the thing, is that's where the potential mistakes could happen, is from the second pack. They're just being too aggressive to try to get back up there. But like I said, so far, knock on wood, they've been solid. But like I said, these guys, I'm sure, like, hey, you know what's good? Commentators' curses. Why don't you throw one of those out here for us?
I'd rather not, because I already had a commentator curse me last night, so I'd rather not go into that. So let's just stick it with that.
However, it's going to get a little dicier up front here, Matt, because again, we talked about that lucky dog battle. Raymond Rittenauer, Kevin Hash, they're like, hey, we're not going to be the lucky dog here if we stay in line. Let's go to the outside. Let's see if we can fight for that spot, because right now Raymond is in that lucky dog position over Richard Sanchez in the 5 truck, just because right there you can see it's about a two or so truck length difference between the two of them, the high side versus low side. So right now that's the strategy those guys are playing, and we'll see if it affects the lap times or not. It was a 47.82 to 47.34. I mean, again, we're looking at 2 different things, and so we'll jump back to the gap. It's in 7 seconds now, Matt. They are closing slowly but surely, but if they can keep this rate up, I think they can get there by the end of this race.
As soon as I got in the Cerberus, about 10.8 seconds, and I made up a total of 3 seconds since I've been here. So that's about 3 seconds and about 8 laps. Now down to 7.6. So about 2/10 a lap, 2 to 3/10 a lap.
Yeah, so the pace has picked up. Those 47.59 for the lead pack this time around to 47.46. So only a tenth, which again, I mean, still going the right way. So that's what you want to do. But yeah, right now, but you can see that those top 3 are staying very aggressive with each other. And the thing is, those are usually the 3 most important trucks here. Is of course those first 3, because the second truck will push the first, and that third truck needs to just stay as tight as he can. And see some trucks hitting pit road just in front of the leaders. I believe those are a couple of our blind squirrels there. Oh, a little bit of contact for Frank Ranger Jr. on pit road. Probably a little bit of rear brake, I'm guessing, getting that truck unsettled. But again, able to keep it pointed in the right direction. And for Quabi, the big split happened during the first run. Unfortunately, there was some pretty big contact, which unfortunately did not bring out a yellow for some of the drivers. And again, with the league doing iRacing yellows only, kind of changed the big complexion of this race here. So, like I said, it's been an uphill climb. There's also been a few pit road miscues, either missed entries or speeding penalties, unsafe maybe entries and such. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy so far early on. But Matt, we're at 25 to go, and here they come.
Stops. I think Brian
look
Wang
at Gabe. He ascended there. He's got Jack Wells right on his rear bumper. So again, though, a little bit of a mixed strategy here. A few drivers staying out, But yeah, you're right, though. Here comes Brian Wing and company. Oh, a little bit of contact to 54. Saves it, though. But again, though, a little bit of these guys having to try to see if they can avoid that contact with each other. Brian Wing on pit road. And let's say this is, again, you want to try to gain as much time as you can on these guys, because as you hit pit road, the leader's just about to roll on out there, and there they go. And it looks like actually a really good job. But look at Gabe. He's going to jump to the point now. But look how well all 5 of those trucks right on cue with each other. Now we got to see how well these trucks are all organized. Not bad, honestly. They look like they're all going to be there together. But, man, they look squirrely, Matt, getting back on the throttle.
Well, here comes the other set. Here comes Richard Sanchez, Jason Bogart, and the 08. Oh, we got a little bit hot. Maybe a speed penalty for the 08.
Hopefully not, but
yeah, he just got nailed.
Yeah, and that's been the thing is mistakes as well. Also, we've had a few drivers overshoot their pit stalls. Looks like so far so good for these guys, though. And this will be the next thing. Again, they went a lap longer because they're like, hey, if we get a caution, we're still in the lead lap. So now, again, this is going to be important for them. Great pit stop for Jason Bogart. There's also Patrick Gruber, good pit stop for them. So it looks like 3 trucks together. Mike Rimkus is going to have to pedal it a little bit to try to get up there. As, man, that 54, again, these trucks, these tires are not feeling too good, it feels like, for a few of them. But, again, they're going to have to really get after it here to try to stay with this lead pack here to be able to stay and have a chance for this lead lap.
Well, it once was a 9-car breakaway. Wait a minute. I think it may change. I think Richard may come out in the back of Gabe Butler there. It's going to be really close. Oh, Jason Bogart's getting pushed by the 54.
Yeah, there's going to be some big pushing right now to try to get back up to speed and tag on to them.
I think they got their draft. They're going to catch back up.
Yeah, they should be okay. I'll say if you're Brian Wing and company,
I'm curious about their gap now.
It is at the moment. It looks like about 7.5. Oh, and you see one truck here that lost the draft though. That's the 51 of Jim Brooks. He's got Bud Steele who's going to try to push him for all he's worth. But those 2 trucks, I'd say they're just potentially out of reach of Eric Laurie, especially with the pace that they've been putting on here. As Brian, it was a 47.66 to 47.91 for the leaders. As, oh man, right there you saw the 87 and the 03. They went a little longer as well. They should be able to make it, though, into that draft as well. Like you mentioned, though, those ones in front, they did catch back up to that lead pack.
As the late great Vinny Parsons would say, man, oh man, is Brian Wang and Seth Gruber going to catch back up?
I mean,
question mark.
It's in the 6s now. They've got down into the 6-second bracket. So I am, like I said, I'm not counting these guys out because at some point they're going to get to that magic draft window. And also, Jim Brooks and Bud Steele, they're working hard here, and they're going to get a little ladder right now. As you saw that truck in between them, I believe that was, which truck is that? It's not Frank Ranger. Oh, it's Mike Rimkus. Oh, Jim pushes Mike a little too hard there. And that got unfortunately, that truck a little bit unsettled. And unfortunately, that's going to start to slow them down because with all that pushing, now they're 2x2 there. And as I said, that was just probably a little bit of indecision. Do we try to push him? Do we try to pass him? So now Jim's going to have to stay really tight on that 74, see if they can use that 3-truck draft to get right back up there.
I can't really see if that 79 has some front end damage at all.
A little bit of right front, it looks like a little crinkle.
I think that's preventing from Jim to catch back up. What Jim needs to do is...
It's going the right way, actually, man. I'm watching right now. It's on Eric Laurie. It's been ticking about... It was 1.1, now it's 104, 103. So I think they're in the draft window. So I think Jim and Bud are going to be able to get back up there with Mike Rimkus. So, yeah, I mean, look at Jim. He is hooked to him. And, yeah, it's down to 0.8 of a second. So, yeah, they've got the toe now. So, again... A little bit of a miscue, but they got it back together and they got that push back, and now they're going to be able to get right back into the second pack, which again, their goal is to get into this pack, which is getting a little bit dicey now, Matt, because again, this Lucky Dog battle is going to be the story, as right now, I believe it's Jason Bogart that has it at the moment, but Richard Sanchez, he's trying to push Patrick Gruber because that can then get him back into that Lucky Dog position.
Boy, oh boy.
A little bit of movement there by the 64 towards the 54. They hang on to it there. But again, the top 5 pretty much that inside line. These are all lead lap trucks except for the 10. But yeah, no, right now I don't know.
This
I
is
don't
just
think
picking up, Gael, because these guys, some of these guys want their lap back. Some of these guys want the race lead.
Yeah, and actually a surprise there to see Cody Nagels. He's jumping to the top. I'm wondering again if are they watching lap times, because again it was a 47.51. Brian Wayne 47.13, 0.4 of a second. Again, it's now in the low sixes. They're about to hit that 5 second margin, and the thing is again that's 5 seconds to the leader. If you go for Brian Wayne to the last truck in the pack, which next truck for position is Gabe Butler. It shows 5.7, but if you look behind Gabe, there's a couple trucks still behind him. So realistically, it's about a 5 second gap from Brian to, it looks like right now, Bob Fitzgerald. But I want to watch the lap times now because these guys now, they have a bigger pack. They've doubled up now. A lot of times that will increase the pace of the leader's pack. But no, 47.77. They actually dropped 0.2 that last time by. We jump back to the second pack. 47.25.
5 seconds now.
Half a second quicker that last time by.
My God, because I'm watching Seth, and he's making new friends with Brian Wang, pretty much.
Oh, they're working hard right now, and right now, the Lucky Dog battle is going back and forth between the 10 and the 5 as they run. So you see the 5s, he actually dropped back a little bit. Now he starts to edge a little bit forward, but I say this is where, I don't know what his strategy is. And I also see a little bit of left rear damage right above his tire there for that 5 machine. So that may have been where he lost that draft as well at some point during this run. But yeah, so we'll watch lap time again here. 47.75 last time. This time by 47.86, Matt. It's still, these guys are dropping.
Wow, that was
47.17 for the second pack. They're going to get there. Without a mistake, they're getting there.
If you look at these two packs compared, if you look at the leaders right now, they're really spread apart. They're not really, well organized for speed. And if you go on over back to the lead pack, Brian Wang, Seth Groover, who was it back there? The 48 truck of Ryan Decker.
Jacob Lee.
They are nose to tail, lined up.
They're aggressive. I mean, they're taking risks to some extent, but at the same time, though,
it's working.
And look right there. I mean, now they really see. I mean, you can see right there. We switched cameras, and it's not that big of a jump. This time a 48.10, 48.05. Yeah, another.
They're getting there.
They're going to get there before this last pit stop, Matt, because they pitted at 51. That means, again, they should probably have to pit around lap 68. So pretty much with about 8 to go, that pit window is going to be open. However, the next strategy you can make with some of these trucks, as you see a big move by Cody there again in front of his teammate Vicente, do you consider short pitting potentially? But I'm curious what the strategy is going to be. I think if you're Brian and company, I almost wonder if you, as soon as you get to the pack, I think you jump in and try to then basically get a better entry than the leaders and not pit as that giant pack, because they have worked really well from pretty much the second pit stop on here to even get to this point. Again, they've gained like 10 seconds from when this all started happening.
So if I was the lead pack, I would short pit. You know the reason why? Because I don't want them to catch my draft. If they were thinking that way, from that mindset, I would do it. But I'm not sure if anybody else would.
The thing is, though, if the leaders do it, that's great news for all the trucks that are on the tail end of the lead lap. That's just going to mean Jason Bogart, Richard Sanchez, Ray Rittenauer, Kevin Hash, those guys are all going to stay out and say, hey, man, if we get a yellow now, we don't even have to worry about the lucky dog. We're at the tail end of the lead lap. We're golden. So they'll still get a draft off of those trucks in front of them. So I think right now, I think these guys are just going to run it out and see how it shakes out. But, I mean, yeah, Matt, it's only a matter of time. I'd say Brian's just about to sniff the draft of these guys. I think they already are, because it was a 46.83.
Yep.
They're there. We've got a race here. We've got 10 trucks now that are going to be going for the win here.
Yeah, they just caught the draft back at Ambrose Depot there. It's all now like Donkey Kong.
What a job by these guys to nail their pit stops. They're going to use the 04 here as a little bit of a ladder again, steal some draft off of him. But they're there. I mean, here's the 05. There's the 88. But look at all those trucks behind them. Yeah, this is a race now, and like I said, now the strategy opens up a little bit. So basically, add Seth Gruber, add Jacob Lee, Eric Laurie, Jim Brooks. They're all in this pack
46-2.
here.
Oh my God.
46-28, fastest lap of the race goes to that 05 truck of Brian Wang.
I don't know about
And they're
you,
taking
but
their momentum to the top. They say, we're not even going to settle in. We're just going for it here.
I just became a Brian Wang Seth fan right now.
All right, so now what do you do, though? Because, look, you got two trucks in front of you. They were single file. They doubled up. They said, you know what? This is our best chance to try to get some laps back here. And does Brian go third, or does he stay as a pusher? Oh, my goodness, the 5, a little bit of wiggle there in the entry. They're going.
I would stay as a pusher. Because even though they were burning a heck of a lot more fuel than guys up front, if I was running with the pack, I would save more fuel just to get a little bit of an edge.
And look right there, the 54 Patrick Gruber, I believe, now goes from 2 down to 1 down at the moment, as he's in front of the 6 and the 05. As right now, those trucks in the second lane, those are the race leaders. The 5 and the 54, that's tailing the lead lap. That's truck 1 lap down. But again, right now, it's crucial for these guys to try to stay in that position. As Rick clears, he's going to jump to the bottom because, again, Matt, it's just about pit window time. These guys have about 3 laps probably until they have to pit. And that's where, again, what do you do here? Because if you're trapped up top, at some point you're going to want to get down, and it's not up to the bottom lane to say, you know what, yeah, come on in, or we'll pit early to let you down. They might fight it, but Brian Wang, though, back to the point here of pushes from Seth Gruber there in the 32.
Yeah, I noticed the 071 of Eric Laurie jumped down to the bottom, so I'm guessing they're going to be pitting very, very soon.
Yeah, and saying, look right in front of him. He's got his teammate Gabe Butler. That is exactly what you want. But, man, these guys are side drafting each other now. They are squeezing here as we are 10 to go, Matt. I say we're watching all that. I'm forgetting how many laps are left in this race as we're down to 10 to go here. And one more pit stop to come here in just another lap or two. And I'm curious to see. I mean, this is almost like, I think it's a good gamble here. Maybe, like I said, maybe short pitting here if you have enough trucks to do it. Because, again, you can pit here without losing a lap. So if you short pit, caution comes out before the rest of the field pits, you're golden. But right now, like I said, we're 9 to go here. I said my magic number was probably about 8 to go on fuel. If that's the case, again, somebody's going to have to blink here eventually to hit pit road. Or the outside line's going to have to drop back to get in line to be ready to pit.
Man, oh man, I'm not hearing anything about chat. It's been actually rather quiet, which is quite odd. I think everybody's plotting.
Well, the nice thing that Seth has going for him is he's got Patrick Gruber there, a third truck on the inside line, so Patrick could give a little opening. We'll see. Do we see any takers this time?
Nope.
No. Once again, these guys going long. Ryan Decker is just pushing for all he's worth. It's just the two of them now. I'm watching Jacob Lee. He's trying to, I think he's dropped back. He's trying to find somewhere to slot in. There goes the 48, Ryan Decker. He's going to get a hole. And there goes Seth Gruber and say, again, that's Patrick doing them a solid. Said, all right, guys, go ahead and get on in here. So I think we're going to see a very, very busy pit road. Jacob Lee just about had an opening there, but Jack Walls filled the gap. He's going to have to try to find somewhere to slot in here, but right now nobody's trying to let him in. He's going to have to keep dropping back. And this is where, again, the aggression, it's like, hey, I want in, I want in. The other guy's like, I don't want to let you in.
There you go. He forced his way in.
He made a lane.
Yeah, he made a lane. You're going to have to do it.
And here they all
Here
come.
they come.
This is the most trucks we've seen on pit road from the start.
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness. This is a traffic jam and a half. So far, everybody's able to get in. Now, Matt, it's not over. They got to hit their pit stalls, not make any mistakes. Don't overshoot them. Great job by Seth Gruber here. Look at everybody else starting to roll through. Everybody's trying to find their pit boxes here. Great job by all these guys so far. Haven't seen any reverses.
By everybody. I'm being serious here. Oh, Eric Laurie took tires. Why?
We'll have to keep an eye on Eric, see if he can hold the draft. Well, look how squirrely these guys are on exit. But look at Brian Wang and Seth Gruber. They are gone. And it's only the two of them, unfortunately, but they might be able to build a gap here on these guys for at least a little bit of time.
He's got his brother behind him, tailing with Cody and Eagles there.
Oh, you're right, though. Eric Laurie might be too far back. We'll have to wait and see as these guys just trying to get the power down. These trucks are not handling very well at all. But right now, Brian Wang, Seth Gruber, they are the top two here. But you're right, though. Patrick Gruber, though, sitting in that third in line, I should say. But again, not third place. But what he's got in trouble for him now is he's got two teammates lined up who are probably going to go ahead and jump right to his outside. No, they stay in line. I'm a little surprised by that. But that little hesitation, Austin Call said, don't mind if I do. I'm going to go ahead and go for that outside line. So right now, again, in this main pack, you go pretty much from first to seventh. Jack Walls, Jim Brooks trying to see if they can get... Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Just Jack Walls trying to get up there with help from Ryan Decker.
Help your brother. Don't be a feud. Oh, he's not going to help his brother.
Well, again, this is where both these drivers are in the playoffs. So,
oh, did you see what I see? Oh my God!
They're helping the brother now.
Gee, I think a couple.
Oh, there's a lot of wiggling going on with these guys. Jack Walls is back in the pack, though, is able to get help from Ryan Decker. Unfortunately, Jim Brooks, though, not able to get it there. Oh, look at the 6. He wants to get to the top side. Jacob Lee had to make a quick decision there. He jumped to the inside lane. Like I said, these guys are all starting to fight over that track position, who wants to be where. Matt, we're 5 to go. We've got now 8 trucks here vying for the win of this race. Of those 8 trucks, we have 5 of which are in the playoffs here. So a lot still to play for. You see, I think that is Bob Fitzgerald jumping to the top side, going to let these guys go. So we'll see a little bit of 3 wide. Here's, look at the big push there. Vicente now jumping to the top here. Huge push entering turn 3, gets right alongside of the 05 Brian Wang, coming to 4 to go.
Tell you what, if I was a brother.
Oh my goodness, look at Brian.
Wow. That was a late move, but it worked.
Oh, contact.
Oh no.
Everybody's still pointed in the right direction.
Still green. We're still green. We're still green.
Oh my goodness, these guys! It's
3 wide.
Oh my God, Gabe almost hit. Oh, there's contact.
There it is.
Oh, Patrick Gruber in the wall. But again, they're pointed straight here, so he's. Oh, I think probably a little bit of right front suspension damage for the 64. That car truck, I should say, not turning. Again, though, everybody stay pointing in the right direction. We still stay green. With 4 to go, coming to 3 now, as now we've got 2 teammates lined up on that bottom lane here. Look at Jacob Lee. He's worked his way now up into that 3rd position in the 21 truck. I think he could get a good push from that 5 truck if they can get there. But right now, like I said, everybody's trying to squeeze each other down. You got Limitless working the outside lane, the 14 to 6, 32 trying to push him. 3 to go here, Matt.
Wow.
Austin Call hit pit road. Look at Brian Wang. Everybody's jumping positions. I don't know if that was an intended lane change for Gabe Butler, if that was a bump that just pushed that 88 to the 2nd lane, as now Jacob Lee's got help from that 5 truck. To say those 2 have worked very well together before, but right now, like I said, the outside lane's got just a little bit of momentum, but you wonder at some point, do we see someone go 3rd lane? You see Seth looking 3rd, but he's got no help here.
Oh man, if I was, sorry to interrupt you, but if I was Seth Gruber, I would drop back for the 48 truck. That's going to be your only help.
Oh, we got 3 wide. Brian Wang left in the middle, but look at Seth. He says, you know what? You guys go 3rd. I'm going to go middle, 2 to go. That's a big push now. That's giving me a huge surge to the inside line there. Jacob Lee's going to clear the inside line. Does Jacob stay committed to the 5 truck, like I said, or does he maybe look at trying to work both lanes here? They're coming up on some traffic as well here. I think that was Austin Call that had to pit. We talked about the suspension damage. So we'll see here. So again, they still got to get to the white flag before this race is official. So right now, again, we've got 7 trucks here vying for the win of this race.
Oh, that was a little bit nervous between Gruber and Brian Wang there.
Cody drops to the inside.
Yeah, we're coming to the white flag here.
All right, so white flag's in the air, and it will come out. We will go caution-free. Not incident-free, but caution-free. But now look at Austin Call. Austin's going to drop to the apron here, try to let these trucks on by again. Just the respect being given there. Austin was in the hunt, had just unfortunate contact, caught him out of it as Jack Wall's down on the apron. Oh, he spins out the 5 truck there. That's going to send him around. That's going to slow down the inside line a ton. And that's going to help that outside line a huge amount here, unfortunately. That cost the 21 his drafting buddy. So right now it's Gabe Butler, Brian Wang, Seth Groover. And right now I don't know if there's anything. There's not enough time for these guys to build a charge back up here.
No,
So
no,
I don't
that's
see
it, pretty
Brian.
much.
Look at the big moves trying to be made by the 14. But up front, though, Gabe Butler going to get the win with Brian Wang. Seth Groover going to finish top 3. Jacob Lee had an opportunity. Unfortunately, that contact with the 83 and the 5 lost the drafting help for Jacob. But Gabe Butler, though, he didn't have the night he wanted at Atlanta. Big rebound here tonight at Daytona. That was wild tonight. We got to go to the second pack. Looks like at the line, looks like Jim Brooks was able to get the kind of the best of the rest, if you will. See the fireworks going off there, all the smoke being shot out. I say Jim Brooks, Eric Laurie, Ryan Decker is going to still find up with everything Ryan went through. He's going to still end up with a top 10 there. That's a hard fought finish for him. But man, I mean, say Brian Wang, I mean, I think that's job number 1 for him. I mean, he pushes a teammate in the playoffs to get the win. He gets that second pack to the first pack. I mean, yeah, I think he deserves some celebration there because he was working hard tonight, and well deserved for Brian to get that podium here tonight as well.
Wow.
Man,
Yeah,
crazy race.
Crazy finish. You didn't get to run an ad.
I know we didn't get to show off 40 race where I hate it, but I'll say for those that aren't aware.
You can show off an ad right now.
Well, but if I do the ad, though, it'll show as a caution, but we can't do that. It's the win caution free. But so basically, though, 40 Raceware, wonderful sponsor, 40raceware.com. They will offer 15% off if you use the code AREA5115. And of course, also in each series, Matt, they're giving away a pair of gloves, and there'll be a raffle for those that have started 10 of the 12 races in each of the series. So Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, as well as tonight on Sunday nights. So really cool of them to do, as Gabe's still burning them down on the front stretch. So while we watch him, though, let's go ahead and find the first of our Groover brothers, and that will be Seth Groover in that number 32. All right, we have found Seth Groover, so let's go ahead and hop over to him. And let's have a chat with that number 32 truck. Bring Seth on in here. And, well, Seth, I mean, I don't know how to describe tonight as anything but just eventful. I mean, we called it caution-free, but not incident-free. I think that's probably the best way we can really describe it, because that was a hectic race tonight. The early incident, no caution. A later incident, still no caution, because everybody's able to keep their trucks pointed in the right direction. Unfortunately, iRacing said, "Nah, you guys keep at it here." But you had a good spot. You had Patrick there, and then unfortunately he got caught up in that later incident, and so it kind of cost you probably a little bit of a helper. But I mean, take us through the race and just how hard you guys had to work to even get back up into the race. Because I mean, you and Brian and Ryan, I mean, you guys were working super hard to even have a chance at this one tonight.
Yeah, I almost forgot what happened at the beginning. There was so many incidents. That was an early wreck, and we were down to 19 seconds back at one point, and I was like, screw it, there's not going to be any caution, so I used one of my faster pairs so that I could push whoever, so I could contribute to the pushing, and that worked out because me and Brian got hooked up, and Ryan was right behind me, and man, yeah, that was one of the more fun races for me. I'm sure Patrick didn't have a very good time,
But I mean, and that's the thing, was, I mean, so the next question, of course, is, I mean, you guys, like I said, you were working so hard. I mean, did it feel like you guys were taking risks, or you guys were clicking that well to be shoving like you were?
I was taking a risk on my engine like 5 times a lap. I was blowing up, letting off, blowing up. Red, get the white, red, get the white. Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, that was cool. I wasn't gonna let Patrick was probably gonna back out at the end of the race, because he's a couple lap downs. But yeah, I'd like to go back and watch the end of that one. We were basically playing Martinsville at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were working, like I said, really, really hard there. But like I said, I mean, to even get back up there, like I said, just an amazing job to stay with it and like I said, just going as hard as you can, like you said, taking risk and kind of risking that motor. But I mean, those are the risks you got to take. Unfortunately, as say in these playoff formats, as you do jump 3 spots now up into sixth in points after Atlanta. So
Oh, good. Okay.
I saying I believe you're only 9 out of the lead as well. So I mean, there's still a lot of time to go. Obviously, just only halfway through with these first two. iRacing Talladega next. So yeah, just awesome job tonight, man, and definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that podium here tonight.
Yeah, thank you to Brian and Ryan for staying in line and getting ourselves back up to that. And thanks to my parents, I'm sure they were watching, and anybody else watching, and you guys for putting on a awesome broadcast.
I appreciate Seth, and yeah, great job tonight. Yep, Mom was definitely watching, so really, really good job. Yeah, crazy, crazy one tonight, but
Yeah.
yeah, well done, sir.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, that is Seth Gruber there, our third place finisher. We're going to now jump to our runner up here tonight. And I mean, while he didn't get the win, I don't know, Brian. I mean, I got to put you as driver of the race here because holy crap, man. You were working tonight. Started shotgun. That wreck that didn't bring out the caution, iRacing kind of being selfish there, greedy, whatever you want to call it. And then you guys were like I was talking said, you guys were 14 plus seconds down. I think even said maybe 19 at one point. And I mean, you guys just pushed like there was no tomorrow. You get back to the pack, and then you have a chance to win this race and able to find your way to your teammate in the playoffs, Gabe Butler, give him the big push to get him the win here tonight. It was there was some well deserved donuts there for you in that '05 truck. I mean, just take us through tonight because that was, I mean, it was just wild and there was so much happening.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a wild race tonight, despite there being no cautions. Yeah, huge comeback for us. I have to say most of it was thanks to Seth Groover and Ryan Decker. They really did well there, pushing us the second and third cars. I have no idea how Seth didn't blow up a few times. It looked like he was struggling for temperature so many times. Like every single lap, it was insane how much he was able to push. And yeah, anyways, for the start of the race, obviously that kind of half wreck came out that didn't cause a caution, and I checked up and was lucky to avoid it, but was unlucky enough to lose the draft. And obviously, at one point, the gap grew to like 15 seconds. And yeah, Seth and Ryan, they just kept pushing, and they did a great job getting us all the way back to the lead pack. And yeah, we pulled off the pit stops pretty well as well. I I had like the very first pit stall, so it was kind of a struggle for me to get down and avoid some of the cars to get into my pit stall. But I was lucky enough to not get hit. Basically, there was the final pit stop. There was a car inside of me, and Rick was behind me, and I had to lift a bit, and Rick lifted for me a little bit. So yeah, thanks to Rick there. Otherwise, we would have been wrecked in the pit lane. And yeah, at the end of the race, it was some really tight racing, some really hard racing at the end. I was lucky to get Gabe hooked up behind me, pushing, and then it got to a point where I was pushing him, and then yeah, obviously, come the final lap, I was just fully sending it. Even though my temps were red, I wasn't gonna lift.
Well, so it worked out well, man. Like I said, just an amazing job tonight. It was, like I said, that you guys, like I said, you guys were working hard, and I mean, I said yes, the pushers are important, but at the same time, that leading truck's got to do a really good job of holding a consistent, solid line for them to feel comfortable to push you. So, yeah, just really, really good job, man, and definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks to Seth Groover and Ryan Decker. They were the second and third cars for most of that race for the second pack. Yeah, thanks to them for pushing us up there, and everyone else in the second pack. It was a pretty great comeback. And thanks to you guys for broadcasting the race, and thanks to my teammates.
Yeah, so we're getting a super zoom in of your truck here. You'll be able to check that out. And I say I love all the bumper stickers and decals. I say I love how much fun you have with these trucks and the paint schemes, man. It's been a lot of fun watching them. As yeah, we're getting a great look on the back of it. But yeah, I say great job though tonight, Brian. Go enjoy this one, and looking forward to seeing you the rest of the way.
Thank you.
I was kind of hoping he'd pull that off because I was a big Brian Wang fan after he uh, got back up to that pack.
Well, you know who was probably a bigger Brian Wang fan tonight, Matt? I think
Oh, God.
the biggest
This guy?
Brian Wang fan tonight is
Oh, man, I don't
probably
wanna
this
talk to this guy.
88 car truck of Gabe Butler.
Truck.
Gabe, we've talked to you before. You've had some crazy races you've been involved with. Where does this one lie? Because I mean, yes, caution free, no, not incident free, but though that I mean, obviously after the last pit stop, you see you're probably watching the ticker in the back. You see these guys coming back up with Brian and all those guys that were kind of lost the draft from that first incident that didn't bring out the caution. I mean, were you watching saying, "Ah, crap, we're gonna have more guys in it," or was it one of those like, "Well, actually, hey, I got a couple teammates that are maybe gonna be a benefit to me if we get them all back in there." Like, what was the thought process there?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The team aspect was the thought process. I kept checking with Brian and Eric how far, they were telling me how far back they were, and once they got close, we were going to pit, and then Brian got to the front, and it came to the point where he had to pit, which was perfect because a lot of people went. We had a really good pit stop, and then those last few laps were just insane. There was a whole bunch of beating and banging, and I mean, that's a hell of a comeback from that second group that had Brian and Eric in it and the rest of the drivers. I mean, they tracked us down. Yeah, we weren't going as fast as we should have been. We were trying to save a little fuel, I think, but yeah, that's up there with the crazy ones.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and like as you said too, and I feel like also being in the lead pack and having that wiggle room, if you will, there's also maybe some more incentive not to maybe take those big risks as well, because it's like, well, hey, we don't want to be the ones that bring out a yellow that brings the whole field back to us. I mean, did you feel like that may have been part of it as well, or? I mean, because yeah, I mean, it does sound like that second pack was definitely taking risks. Seth was saying he was pretty much flashing red a lot during his pushing stints, and yeah, I mean, like I said, it was pretty wild, and it wasn't just that first incident that didn't bring up the yellow, because I mean there was a lot of pit road miscues, some pit road mistakes, speeding penalties. I think you kind of had to do a little bit of ping pong in your, I think it was your first pit stop. I mean or I should say pinball in that one, but I think it was you and Cody and Vicente kind of all got squished together there, but yeah, it was hectic night by by no means, or by all means there, but yeah, man, I'd say you kept your cool. You were able to put yourself in the right places and made some big moves. I mean, was it just one of those things you're trying to find your friends at the end, or was it just go where the momentum was?
Well, when we got split up, I just had to kind of go where the momentum was and pit when the others pitted. But then once Brian and Eric got close and got up to us, then it was a team game from there. And like I said, they did an amazing job catching us. And then when Brian got up here, and we knew we had a really good chance one of us was going to get it. Eric was a little bit far back in the pack to try and get up there. But yeah, once Brian got up in our neck of the woods, I knew we had a big chance. And like I said, that last 3 or 4 laps was just insane. There was moves being busted everywhere, and it was a ton of fun. I mean, it was a really, really good race there at the end.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got. A lot of the drivers were saying it was like, obviously there was some frustration, but at the same time it was a lot of fun for having to work so hard to even have a chance to get back in the race, and then of course yeah, fighting so hard to try to get the win or even just a top 3, top 5. So yeah, just awesome job. Like I said, obviously Atlanta didn't go the way you're hoping it would, but tonight you jumped 9 spots, now only 4 out of the lead with 2 races to go. So I know you're kind of one of those race by race drivers, but I'm sure it feels good though to kind of regain so much after Atlanta not going to plan.
Oh yeah, we had a disaster at Atlanta, but with some other drivers having some bad luck tonight and me winning, I mean, geez, I couldn't ask for anything else. So yeah, I'll take it. Needed it.
But yeah, hell of a job, man. And definitely, though, before we let you go and hang out and celebrate with your team, definitely want to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shouts for that big win here tonight at Daytona?
Oh yeah, well, first and foremost, huge shout out to Brian there at the end, and of course Eric in Team Boot Naka. Brilliant job. I've said it once, I've said it a million times. You're no matter how good you think you are, you're not as good unless you have your teammates with you, and I'll always say that. But shout out to the drivers tonight, man. A lot of them overcame some adversity there with that big checkup and that second pack. So, I mean, props to those guys. And, of course, yourself, Gael, and Matt up in the booth at Green and White Checker TV. I can't wait to go back and look at this one. I might be up a little late tonight.
Well, I'll say don't stay up too late. Don't you get in trouble with Jeannie. But
Right.
yeah, just awesome job though tonight, man. Go enjoy this one and look forward to seeing the rest of the way.
All right, man. Thanks a bunch.
All right, Matt. That is our race winner, Gabe Butler, in that number 88 truck. And while we watch him sitting in the infield there at the Daytona line, we got to pull up our final results for tonight, as it is going to be Gabe Butler getting the win over Brian Wang, Seth Groover. Jacob Lee had such a good chance, just unfortunately lost his pusher at the end. That contact out of turn 2, unfortunately, cost him some help there. Still able to hold on to a 4th spot, though. And also that 4th spot propels him to the points lead here. 3 points over Cody Nagels, 4 over Gabe Butler. And then you got Vicente Guerrero mentioned top 5. Then Jack Walls, Cody Nagels there in that lead pack. And the kind of the best of the rest there that didn't unfortunately stay in that main pack at the end, Jim Brooks and Eric Laurie 8th and 9th. And then again, Ryan Decker, one of the pushers of the race, still brings it home a top 10. Austin Call was there until the very end. Unfortunately, that incident towards the end that cost him, had to take a fast repair at the very end, and was again in that pack trying to get a good result. Still brings it home 11th. And then you got Kevin Hash started from pit road, brings it all the way to 12th. Jason Bogart 13th. Raymond Rittenauer 14th. Then you got Mike Rimkus, Nick Wing, Richard Sanchez, Bud Steele, all still one down there as well, 14th through 18th. And we get to the last finishers, unfortunately, just not the nights they're hoping for. Bob Fitzgerald, Ambrose Nabel, Frank Ranger Jr., Patrick Groover, and then unfortunately early retirements for Corey Buskirk, and then a very early retirement, unfortunately, for Joe Dellavecchia.
Well,
that was wild tonight.
Well, probably some yellows that should have been. I actually went back and watched it. Probably some yellows that should have been thrown. Yeah, but
yeah, that's one of the things.
It's what the rules will say, what the admins have, and
that's what we discussssed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe
some change. You know what I mean.
Yep, and that's
trying to do.
Yeah, and that's what he said is the league isn't going to make mid-season changes, but they're always open to changes during the off season, and I'm sure this is going to be one that's brought up. And again, I'd say part of the reason is just try to not play favorites, but at the same time, when you have an incident that big, probably should have been a yellow. Unfortunately, I said it affected the outcome of the race for a lot of drivers, and so that's a tough spot to be in. But again, that's what we got right now. We'll see if it changes in the future, but that's for the admins to decide. For us, we just get to enjoy the show, and it was definitely a wild one here tonight. But again, enjoyed every moment of it. For those that were watching, big thank you to all that watch and support. And yeah, big thank you. Unfortunately, didn't get to do a lot of replays at the end, so big thank you to Import Logic, our replay sponsor for the Green White Checker TV. They've been awesome, and also great seeing one of their drivers there having a chance to go for this championship. Like I said, 3 points now in the lead. And Matt, we've got still 7 drivers, 10 points out of the lead. So again, I mean, anything can happen. We talked about bonus points. That's going to be a big storyline coming to these final 2. So a lot to watch for. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. We've got just a couple more races in all 3 series, though. We got 2 to go here. I believe it's 2 to go as well on the Tuesday open wheel side. Thursday night will be as well at iRacing Super Speedway, and then back to iRacing here once again in a week's time on Sunday. So I appreciate you hopping in as soon as you were done with that open wheel race. Sorry it didn't go as well as you're hoping for, but hopefully Tuesday's a better night for you. And then, like I said, everybody watching, support us. Thank you so much. It means a ton. It's a lot of fun to do these with all the input and kind of feedback from the viewers. Mm-hmm. And so until then, hope you have a wonderful evening. And as always, take care, stay safe, have a great night.